Boker Tov. Good morning. Today is Friday, November 12th, Erev Shabbat, Parshat Vayetze. And this is a Parsha chock full of material and a storyline, which is just so rich, verse by verse, pasuk by pasuk. You have just endless, valuable material to understand and unpack. We spent this week looking at some components of the parasha, but I actually want to bring us back to the very opening storyline where Yaakov happens upon this place where he has a dream of a ladder with angels ascending and descending, and God speaks to him. God's there at the top of the ladder and speaks to him and promises him, and it's a very, very powerful story. And the Torah describes the following at the end of that dream: Vayikatz Yaakov mishanato, and Yaakov was startled awake. Vayikatz, startled awake from his slumber, his sleep. Vayomer, and he said, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, va'anochi lo yadati. It is indeed so that God is in this place, and I did not know it. And then he speaks about how awesome this place is. It's a place of the house of God. This is the Sha'ar HaShamayim, the gateway to heaven. He understands this is a no normal place, and it's a place where God dwells, where God is to be found. So what does he mean when he says it is? Whoa, achein! It is so surprisingly, right, that God is in this place, and I anochi lo yadati. So what's the implication? I'll share with you three renderings. The first is that of Rashi, which says, it's quoted in the Midrash Hagadol, She'im yadati, because if I had known that this was God's place, Lo yashanti b'makom kadosh kaz, I would never allow myself to go to sleep, lie down here, and treat it as if it were just a lodging or less, just to throw myself down here to take a snooze. If I realized that this was a holy place, I would never have done so. No one sleeps in shul. No one sleeps in the Beis HaMikdash, in the holy sanctum of the Beis HaMikdash at least. And I would never have done that. That's the implication as Rashi in the Midrash reads it. There's a forno, second understanding. V'anochi lo yadati, she'ilu yadati, for if I had known that this were God's place, hayiti, and that I would have some type of prophecy, hayiti mechin atzmi l'nevuah v'lo kin asiti, I would have prepared myself in a different way for this encounter, this prophetic encounter, and I didn't do so. So it's not that, I feel terrible that I lay myself down here to sleep here and treat it inappropriately, but rather, if I had, if I had realized in advance of what an awesome experience I would be given an opportunity to have, that I would have prepared myself spiritually in a different way. Look at this very big difference between the two. And look, this is the notion that kedusha comes with hachana, that all holy matters comes with preparation, and I guess he's saying that I probably could have had an even more intense and awesome experience if I had done the preparatory work, but it wasn't so bad, right? It was pretty significant even without the preparatory work. But that's just a reminder to us all that we need to we will draw from an experience based on what we put into the experience, or certainly more, if we prepare ourselves in a way that recognizes what we are meant to gain, and then we're in mode to receive it. Very significant teaching. But here now, when I share with you the final reading of this, which is more of a Hasidic bent, it's quoted in a few different people's names in Hasidus, and it goes as follows: God is in this place. Ve'anochi lo yadati, and I became aware of the fact that God is in this place because I stopped being aware of myself. Anochi, myself, lo yadati. So in a small sense, where we recognize how it happened. He has an experience of God because he's sleeping. When we lose consciousness, when we stop being self-aware, which is what we do when we sleep, we can have the possibility of prophecy. Many prophets, most prophecy seems to happen when you go into a trance. That seems to be how it works. I've never had one. Right? You go into some type of trance, and it's not merely that that God is like taken over, but actually the person doesn't have space for the experience beyond, when all they are doing is experience the now and experiencing the self. That is a different type of hachana, of preparation, than even the one we mentioned before, that's found in the Seforno. And that's the recognition of ourselves that we are, by our nature, and this is what it means to be a human, we're very much self-focused. Hopefully we're other focused in terms of people around us, but we inhabit a body, and we are embodied, and and our minds are thinking about all the things that are of us. But we run a risk when we allow, or when our minds just stay there, that we're never going to be able to have access to anything beyond ourselves. If that's where we are. Now, again, it is the nature of being a human, and it's kind of sad if the only time you can actually not think about yourself is when you're sleeping, right? And even then, your brain is doing all types of processing of who knows, we know what, of the day in the ways that it does, and even there, in some level, you have self-awareness, but it's of a different nature. And there's this lesson that we are meant to take away, I think, from this third reading, from what Yaakov says. If I want to be able to experience that which is bigger than myself, then I have to stop only thinking of myself. And so there were people who did, all manner of self-effacing things, and and self-denial type of actions. It wasn't because the more I beat myself up, so then maybe I'll be worthy of something. There were ways in which a person said, I don't want to be thinking, if I don't think about my body so much. Draw myself away from myself, and that allows me to perhaps have a broadened horizon of what I can think about others around me, and that which is actually higher, but actually present. Higher, the top of that ladder, but present here too. It's good work to do. It's good work to do, to be conscious of ourselves, of how conscious of ourselves we are, to be mindful of that, to enable ourselves then to be able to say, okay, that's me, but it's not all about me. Let me think beyond me, or allow myself to be beyond me, or to be open to beyond me, and suddenly you realize just how much of the beyond we can indeed encounter. A little bit of work, or a lot of bit of work to ponder and consider as we enter the Shabbat Parshat Vayetze. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.